Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are going to be diving into the Battle of Polytopia, one of the cleanest, fastest, and most strategic turn-based games out there. If you've ever looked at Polytopia and thought, okay, what is actually happening here? This video is for you. We're going to be covering the basics, then keep going until we have broken down the major mechanics: tribes, stars, cities, population, tech, movement, combat, terrain, buildings, diplomacy, ruins, game modes, scoring, and what all of it means together. The current wiki lists 16 tribes total, splitting into 12 regular tribes and 4 special tribes, and each tribe has its own starting tech, resources, spawn rates, visuals, and music. Polytopia is built around a randomly generated square map, and every match uses one of 6 map sizes and 6 water settings. Terrain and resource spawning vary by tribe, so even before the first move, the game is already asking you to adapt. That's one of the biggest reasons Polytopia stays interesting. The rules are simple, but the openings are different every single time. The core idea. At the most basic level, Polytopia is about doing 4 things at once: exploring, expanding, developing technology, and fighting efficiently. You start with the capital city and a starting unit, and your goal is to turn that tiny start into a machine that can produce more stars, claim more territory, and eventually win through score, domination, or the other multiplayer victory conditions. Regular tribes all share the same broad tech structure, while special tribes remix the formula with their own unique trees, units, and buildings. The simplest way to think about the game is this. Every turn, stars come in, and you decide how to spend them. Do you buy tech? Do you train a unit? Do you upgrade a city? Build roads, a workshop, or a temple? Every choice pushes your civilization in a different direction, and Polytopia rewards players who can balance economy and aggression instead of just tunnel visioning one or the other. Stars, the main currency. Stars are the economy of Polytopia. Your cities produce stars every turn, and the income from a city increases as that city levels up. The capital starts with different income depending on whether it is controlled by a human player or by an AI on easy, normal, hard, or crazy difficulty. Workshops and parks also boost a city's income by 1 star per turn. And a city under siege produces no income at all. There are also one-time ways to gain stars. Clearing a forest gives a star, disbanding a unit returns half its cost rounded down, meeting an enemy player gives stars based on their score, city upgrade bonuses can grant stars, and ruins can reward stars too. That means your economy is not just about passive income, it is also about timing, map control, and knowing when to convert the board into value. Population and upgrades. Cities are where almost everything important happens. A city's population determines whether it can level up and how many units it can support. To upgrade a city, you need population bars filled in. The amount required is always 1 more than the city's current level. Upgrading a city increases its income, increases its unit capacity, and raises its score value. City upgrades also give you a choice of rewards. At level 2, you choose between a workshop or an explorer. At level 3, you choose between a city wall or 5 stars. At level 4, you choose between population or border growth. At level 5 and beyond, you can choose between a park or a super unit. That upgrade tree is a huge part of Polytopia's strategy because it forces you to decide whether a city should become an economic engine, a scouting tool, a defensive position, or a military factory. Population can come from harvesting resources, constructing buildings, and forming city connections. If a building is destroyed or a city connection lost, the population it provided disappears too. Cities can even go into negative population, which lowers their income, though it does not reduce their unit support. That makes city networks and protection more important than they first appear. Connections. City connections are one of Polytopia's most important systems. If your capital is linked to one or more of your other cities through roads, bridges, ports, outposts, algae, or mycelium, you create a connection that gives one population to both cities. A connected city gets a road symbol next to its name, and you do not need to research a special technology just to form the connection. You only need the structure to make it possible. This is huge because it means roads are not just for movement, they are also part of your economy, your city leveling, and your long-term growth. When players talk about developing infrastructure in Polytopia, this is what they're referring to. Technology and the tree. Technology is what unlocks the game. It gives you access to resources, buildings, units, and abilities. You can research tech using stars, and sometimes you can get tech from ruins. The tech tree is divided into 3 tiers. Tier 1 can be researched immediately, while Tier 2 and 3 require earlier techs in the branch. The cost scales with both tier and how many cities you own. Using the formula, the technology tier you have, times the number of cities you own, and plus 4. That scaling is why expansion matters so much. The more cities you control, the more expensive research becomes, which means your empire literally makes knowledge harder to buy. On top of that, every tribe except Luxador and Aquarion starts with a unique starting technology, which gives each tribe a different opening style right from turn 1. A few examples to make this easier to see. Climbing unlocks mountain movement and defense bonuses on mountains. Fishing unlocks ports, rafts, and movement in water. Hunting unlocks hunting, and organization unlocks fruit harvesting. Riding unlocks riders, and special tribes remix these same branches in their own way. Movements. Movement in Polytopia looks simple at first, but it has a lot of layers. A unit's movement depends on its movement stat, its skills, and the terrain it crosses. Under normal conditions, a unit can move within the measured range that it has, but terrain and roads can change that. In standard play, a unit can only move once per turn, and only one unit can occupy a tile at a time. Terrain matters a lot here. Forests and mountains slow movement unless a unit has the right skill or technology. Water and ocean restrict movement even more heavily, and roads can let units move farther through connected terrain. Some units ignore terrain barriers entirely, while others are slowed or limited on specific tiles. This is why map reading is such a massive skill in Polytopia. The board itself is part of the combat system. Terrain. The main terrain types are field, forest, mountain, water, and ocean, but the game also includes special states like ice, flooded terrain, algae, and cloud-covered unexplored tiles, which are also more commonly known as the fog of war. Terrain controls where units can move, what resources can appear, and what buildings can be placed. For example, forests can be cleared or burned, mountains require climbing to move through, and water and ocean have their own separate access rules. Exploration is also tied to terrain. Clouds hide unexplored tiles, and units cannot move onto clouded tiles until those tiles are revealed. That means scouting is not a side mechanic, it's how you find villages, ruins, choke points, and future expansion routes. Combat. Combat in Polytopia is built around 2 stats: attack and defense. Attack determines how much damage a unit deals, and defense affects how much retaliation damage it deals, and how much damage it takes when defending. That means a fight is not just about who hits first, it's about the stats, the matchup, and whether you can secure a kill without leaving your own unit exposed. There are 42 unit types in the game, and every type except warrior is unlocked by technology. Some units are simple, some units are ranged, and some have specialized roles like mobility, infiltration, or transformation. Units also have skills, special rules that change how they move or fight. Examples include dash, escape, hide, infiltrate, persist, poison, and splash. Those skills are what makes Polytopia units feel distinct instead of just being stat blocks with different names. One of the most important ideas for new players is that not every unit should be used the same way. Some are better for early exploration, some for finishing wounded enemies, some for holding ground, and some for breaking open city defenses. The game rewards learning what a unit is for instead of treating every unit like a generic attacker. Buildings and tile actions. Buildings are immovable objects placed on specific tiles, and they come in several major categories: resource buildings, monuments, temples, plus other important structures like bridges, roads, and embassies. Buildings are tied to terrain, so not every structure can go everywhere. Then there are tile abilities, which are different from buildings. Abilities are actions you perform on a tile, such as burn forest, clear forest, destroy, grow forest, starfish harvesting, and the now deceased whale hunting. These actions are part of how the map gets transformed over time. Polytopia is not just about capturing land, it's about reshaping the land into something that can support your economy and your army. Ruins and exploration. Ruins are one of the most exciting early game mechanics. If a unit starts its turn on a ruin, it can examine it and receive a reward. The possible rewards include stars, free technology, 3 population to the capital, or an explorer. Ruins can appear on almost any terrain except shallow water, but they cannot appear next to a capital or another ruin. Explorers are another important early reward. They automatically move to reveal fog and uncover terrain, and they can be gained from city upgrades or ruins. Each explorer moves 15 times, so getting one early can explode your scouting range and help you find villages, enemies, and resources much faster. Diplomacy and tribe relations. Diplomacy, which is one of my favorite additions to this game, adds another layer on top of the normal war game. In Polytopia, tribes can be at war, neutral, or at peace. War happens when either side attacks the other recently, while peace requires a sent and accepted peace treaty. During peace, hostile actions are blocked, roads can be used in allied territory, and embassies pay out double the income. The diplomacy technology unlocks the cloak, my favorite unit, the embassy, and capital vision. Capital vision lets you see the capitals of tribes you've discovered, including capitals that have been captured. The embassy itself can be built in another tribe's capital, and normally generates stars for both sides, with the income doubling during peace treaties. That means diplomacy is not just a friendship system, it's a strategic system for vision, income, and maybe even surprise attacks. Even the peaceful side of Polytopia still is about positioning. Game modes and win conditions. Polytopia currently has, about 6 game modes: Perfection, Domination, Creative, Boot Camp, Glory, and Might. Now, you might not count Boot Camp, and that's absolutely fine. Perfection, Domination, Creative, and Boot Camp are the single-player modes, while Glory and Might are the multiplayer counterparts for the 2 main competitive modes. Perfection is the classic 30-turn score race. The goal is to get the highest score possible before the timer runs out, and the multiplayer version is Glory, where the first player to reach 10,000 points wins. Domination is the full conquest mode. Defeat all opponents. Its multiplayer counterpart is Might, where the win condition is capturing every enemy capital. Creative lets players customize map size, water amount, and opponent count, and can even be played as an endless mode with no win condition. Boot Camp is the tutorial style mode designed to teach new players the game rules and mechanics. Score itself is tracked across 4 categories: army and territory, cities, monuments and temples, and science or tech. Units, territory, exploration, city count, and scientific progress all contribute to the final number, which is why good players are always thinking about both board control and long-term growth. Each tribe feel different. Even though the rules are shared, tribes still play differently. Every tribe has unique terrain aesthetics, unit visuals, city looks, and music. Regular tribes share the same broad structure, But special tribes bring unique technology trees, units, and buildings into the mix. That's why Polytopia feels simple on the surface, but is surprisingly deep once you start learning matchups and openings. The real takeaway is that your tribe determines your opening, but your decisions determine the game. A strong Polytopia player is not just the person who knows the best tribe, it's the person who knows how to turn the tribe they have into a balanced economy, a safe frontier, and a winning army. And that's the end of the video. That's the foundation of Polytopia. Stars fuel everything. Cities create stars, population upgrades units, technology unlocks new options, terrain shapes movement, units fight with attack and defense, ruins and explorers speed up your information game, diplomacy changes the political map, and the different game modes decide how all of those systems are judged. I truly hoped you guys enjoyed. This was an amazing video to make, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good one.